There is a habit so quiet, so overlooked, that it almost seems invisible, and yet it has built fortunes, created empires, and lifted ordinary men and women into extraordinary lives. It is not loud, it is not flamboyant, and it does not seek attention. That is why so few recognize it. But if you search the history of the self-made, if you trace the steps of the successful, if you listen to the confessions of greatness, you will find this silent habit whispering behind the curtain of every achievement. The question is, will you have the courage to practice it when the rest of the world is too distracted, too impatient, and too restless to notice? Fortune does not come to the noisy seeker. It comes to the one who knows how to do the unseen work, the inner work, the habit of discipline and focus that makes riches inevitable. If you believe fortune is not about luck but about law, write it down and declare it. I am a creator of fortune. The world sells you the lie that fortune is chance, that some people are simply born lucky, that others are favored by timing, connections, or privilege. But look closer. The wealthy who built their own paths were not gambling their lives on luck. They practiced a discipline that compounded silently over time. They planted seeds when no one was watching. They repeated the same small actions daily until those actions became grooves in their character, and grooves in their character became rivers that carried them inevitably to success. Fortune is not a roll of dice. Fortune is a harvest. And the silent habit is planting when no one claps, watering when no one notices, staying consistent when no one believes. Do you see the contrast? The impatient crave applause today. The disciplined prepare a harvest tomorrow. If you understand this, comment it now. I choose the harvest. Consider the farmer. He does not walk his field in spring and demand fruit by morning. He knows the law. Planting precedes reaping. Labor precedes reward. Yet in our age of instant gratification, most people abandon the field before the season changes. They pull up their own seeds because they cannot wait for roots to grow. This is why mediocrity is everywhere. But the silent habit is different. It is patience tied to persistence. It is knowing that the invisible effort today creates the visible fortune tomorrow. And the law is clear. What you plant, you will reap. What you water, you will harvest. What you neglect, you will lose. Say it out loud and write it down. Delay is not denial. Now let us expose the enemies that rob people of fortune. Impatience whispers it should have happened by now. Comparison hisses, they are already ahead of you. Self-doubt sneers, maybe you don't have what it takes. These are the thieves of wealth, the inner saboteurs that cause men and women to abandon their destiny before the fruit ripens. But here is the truth no one tells you. Those who bloom late often outlast the early bloomers because their roots are deeper, their character is stronger, and their discipline is unshakable. Do not despise your slow season. Do not curse the years of obscurity, for these are not wasted years. They are the forge of your fortune. If you believe this, say it. My season is preparation. The silent habit I speak of is consistency. The act of doing what matters, even when no one sees, no one applauds, and no one affirms you. Fortune is the child of consistency. A few minutes of study each day compounds into mastery. A daily effort in service compounds into influence. A disciplined savings habit compounds into wealth. The secret is not one massive effort, but 1,000 quiet repetitions. The world is distracted by the spectacular, but life rewards the consistent. Let this anchor in your mind. Small daily actions create great futures. Do you know why most people never rise above average? Because they cannot endure the silence. They need recognition too quickly. They crave validation too soon. They abandon the habit before it produces results. But the extraordinary endure the quiet. They remain faithful to the process when no one is looking. They let the applause come later because they know applause is the echo of consistency. If you would rather be great later than be mediocre now, then declare it in writing. I endure the silence. Here is an action you can take tonight. Write down one habit that you know will lead you to fortune if practiced daily for the next year. It could be reading, investing, creating, serving, saving, or training. Commit to it in silence. Do not announce it. Do not parade it. Let your results speak for you. The silent habit does not need noise, it needs faithfulness. Keep that paper where you can see it, and each time you practice the habit, put a mark on it. Let the marks accumulate like proof of your discipline. This is how you train your mind to see fortune as a law, not as luck. Think of fortune as a magnet. The stronger your habit, the stronger your pull. Every repetition charges your magnet. Every day you keep your word to yourself increases the force that draws opportunities, people, and resources toward you. People call it luck. It is not luck. It is law. Like attracts like, consistency attracts fortune. Say it with me now, so that it engraves itself upon your mind. Consistency attracts fortune. Remember this unshakable law and let it govern you from this day forward. Fortune is not noise. Fortune is the echo of silent habits repeated in faith. Write it, speak it, and believe it. The declaration is simple, but its power is eternal. I am consistency. I am discipline. I attract fortune. The greatest deception you will ever face is the belief that fortune belongs to others more than it belongs to you. This lie creeps into the mind like a shadow, whispering that you are not worthy, not ready, not chosen. But the law of life makes no distinction. Fortune does not play favorites. It responds to cause and effect. It answers to discipline and persistence. The silent habit is the great equalizer, the bridge that carries you from obscurity to abundance. Think about this carefully. Every great fortune, every story of triumph, every example of wealth built from nothing traces back to an invisible discipline, repeated quietly, without fanfare, without spectacle. If you accept this truth, write it down now. I am worthy of fortune. Most people are waiting for a sign. They want lightning to strike. They want a perfect opportunity to appear. They want circumstances to shout, now is your time. But the ones who rise do not wait for signs. They create them. Their silent habit is showing up every day, carving out progress inch by inch, until opportunity has no choice but to knock on their door. The world rewards the prepared. The ones who treated each day as training ground become the ones ready when the moment arrives. Ask yourself, are you preparing silently while others are distracted? Or are you waiting, hoping, drifting? The drift leads nowhere. The habit leads everywhere. Let me show you a dangerous truth few dare to say aloud. The enemy of fortune is not failure. It is comfort. Failure at least teaches. Comfort teaches nothing. It lulls you into false security, keeping you busy but stagnant, moving but going nowhere. And when comfort becomes your daily choice, your silent habit turns against you. Because make no mistake, habits compound whether you intend them to or not. Laziness compounds into poverty. Distraction compounds into regret. Fear compounds into paralysis. Only discipline, only focus, only persistence compounds into fortune. So you must ask yourself, what habit am I compounding right now? Think of a sculptor. He chips away at marble day after day. At first the stone looks unchanged, but every strike is silent progress. And then one day people walk by and marvel at the statue as if it appeared overnight. They say, what luck, what talent. They do not see the years of dust, the calloused hands, the silent blows of the hammer. Fortune looks sudden to those who did not watch the process, but to the sculptor it is inevitable. That is how fortune works. Invisible habit, visible results. Invisible struggle, visible victory. Invisible faith, visible fortune. If you want fortune to find you, begin tonight with something small but consistent. Read 10 minutes on a subject that strengthens your mind. Write one page that brings you closer to your dream. Save one coin that strengthens your discipline over money. Train one movement that sharpens your body. Do it without noise, without announcement, without seeking applause. Do it silently and let fortune come searching for the one who built the magnet of consistency. This is how wealth begins, not with fireworks, but with sparks struck daily in silence. Repeat this truth until it sinks deep. Delay is not denial. Delay is not denial. Delay is not denial. Write it on paper, write it in the comments. Speak it until your mind cannot forget. Your season is not canceled. Your effort is not wasted. Your preparation is not invisible to the laws of the universe. There is a time for planting, and there is a time for harvest. But no harvest comes to the one who abandoned the field. Stay faithful to the process, and fortune must answer. It is law. Let us confront another enemy, comparison. Nothing kills fortune faster than measuring your season against another's. You look at the sprinter and forget that you are a marathoner. You look at the early success of another and forget that your roots are still growing deeper. Comparison robs you of patience. It poisons your discipline. It whispers, you're behind, but you are not behind. You are right on time. The silent habit is your race, not theirs. Repeat this until it becomes your shield. I run my own race. I am right on time. And now a law to engrave into your mind, one that will outlast your doubts and silence your fears. Fortune does not belong to the loudest voice. Fortune belongs to the most disciplined habit. Say it with me. Write it down where you will see it each morning. Discipline builds fortune. Do not let this be a phrase you hear and forget. Make it your anchor. For when comfort tempts you, when comparison mocks you, when doubt weakens you, this law will pull you back to the path. Discipline builds fortune. There is a reason fortune feels elusive to so many. It is because they search for it in the wrong places. They look for fortune in opportunities that others hand to them. They look for fortune in shortcuts and secrets whispered by those who profit from their impatience. They look for fortune in noise, in attention, in external approval. But fortune hides in plain sight, waiting in the silent disciplines you practice when no one else is looking. It is in the notebook you fill each morning with ideas. It is in the savings you set aside when others spend. It is in the hours of practice when the crowd is absent. Fortune is not out there somewhere. Fortune is built inside of you, and when it is ready, it spills outward into the world in the form of results so undeniable that people call it luck. If you believe fortune is not found but built, write it in the comments. I am building my fortune. Think of the law of compounding. The world marvels at the rich because they do not see the decades of silent accumulation. A single dollar saved daily grows into a fortune over years. A single page written daily grows into a book that changes lives. A single workout daily builds a body that inspires others. The silent habit is compounding. Each repetition is a deposit. Each day of discipline is an investment. And fortune pays the faithful with interest greater than anything the impatient could ever imagine. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not curse the days of little progress. For little progress repeated becomes unstoppable momentum. Repeat this law until it is tattooed on your mind. Small daily deposits create great returns. Let us examine another enemy of fortune: distraction. Never has it been easier to be busy but unproductive. People spend hours scrolling, watching, consuming, but not creating. They confuse motion with progress. They mistake distraction for rest. And all the while, their silent habits are being hijacked by noise. But here is the truth. Every moment you give to distraction is a moment stolen from fortune. You cannot plant seeds while scrolling endlessly. You cannot build discipline while chasing every new distraction. The silent habit is focus, ruthless focus. Say it now, declare it for yourself. I protect my focus. Remember this? Fortune is not magic. It is mathematics. It is the sum of your daily disciplines multiplied over time. If you want to know what your fortune will look like in 5 years, look at your habits today. Are you practicing the silent disciplines that compound, or are you feeding the distractions that decay? The answer is already writing your future. You cannot hide from this law. Cause and effect does not lie, and fortune is the exact proportion of contribution multiplied by discipline. This is not a guess. This is law. I want you to pause tonight and write a list of your habits. Which ones are feeding fortune? Which ones are feeding failure? Be honest. No one else needs to see it. Then choose one habit to strengthen and one habit to eliminate. Start there. It is not about perfection. It is about direction. If you choose your direction wisely, fortune will eventually find you. But if you drift, if you let distraction decide, then regret is the only harvest you will know. Remember, fortune is not a single event. Fortune is the reflection of your daily choices. Picture two men. One reads for 30 minutes daily, takes notes, and applies ideas. The other scrolls for 30 minutes daily, entertains himself, and lets his mind drift. In 1 year, the difference is invisible. In 5 years, the difference is undeniable. One has built a fortune of knowledge, skills, and opportunities. The other has wasted the same minutes into nothingness. What separated them? Not luck, not intelligence, not privilege, a silent habit. That is all. If you see the power in this, declare it. My habits shape my destiny. Do not underestimate the quiet force of identity. Fortune is attracted to the person who acts like the future version of themselves now. If you want to be wealthy, begin practicing the silent habits of wealth. Save, invest, create, contribute. If you want to be healthy, begin practicing the silent habits of health. Train, rest, nourish, discipline. If you want to be influential, begin practicing the silent habits of leadership. Listen, learn, serve, speak with clarity. Your identity is not waiting in the future. It is built silently in the present. Say it out loud and write it where you can see it each morning. I act like the person I wish to become. And so we come to another law, simple but eternal. Fortune favors the faithful, not the gifted, not the lucky, not the privileged, but the faithful. Faithful in discipline, faithful in habit, faithful in silence. If you want fortune to find you, remain faithful when no one is watching. This is the silent covenant between you and the law of success. Repeat it until you cannot forget it. Fortune favors the faithful. The secret that escapes most people is that fortune is less about what you do once and more about what you refuse to stop doing. Anyone can work hard for a week, even a month, when excitement is fresh and motivation runs high. But fortune ignores the bursts of enthusiasm. Fortune measures only what remains when the noise dies down, when no one is clapping, when the first thrill has faded. That is where the silent habit separates the dreamers from the achievers. The majority quit when results don't appear immediately. But the few who persist through the silence, who stay steady in the unseen work, eventually gather results so staggering that others call it destiny. Say it now and let it settle. I do not quit in the silence. Most people think fortune is dramatic. They imagine a sudden breakthrough, a windfall, a single decision that changes everything. But look deeper at the lives of those who built something enduring. You will see not a flash, but a flame burning daily, quietly, persistently. Fortune is a long obedience in the same direction. It is bricks laid each day, one on top of the other, until an unshakable structure rises. The mistake is thinking you need massive moments. The truth is you need silent consistency. That is why you must not despise the ordinary routines. The ordinary, repeated with discipline, produces the extraordinary. Write this down and engrave it in your mind. Ordinary disciplines create extraordinary results. Do you know what sabotages more people than failure itself? Impatience. They want harvest in the season of planting. They want applause in the season of obscurity. They want recognition before they have built substance. Impatience is the cancer of fortune. It kills before roots can grow. But patience paired with daily action is the medicine of destiny. The silent habit is the cure. It teaches you to stay when others flee, to endure when others collapse, to wait while still working. Do not confuse patience with passivity. Patience is active faith. Patience is confident work done without panic. Declare it and believe it. I am patient and active in faith. Think about the craftsman who works alone in his shop. The world does not see him. Neighbors think he is wasting his time. Friends wonder why he hasn't made it yet, but in silence he is perfecting his skills. Day by day, hour by hour, his hands grow precise, his mind grows sharp. And one day, the work of his hands is so excellent that it cannot be ignored. What looked like delay was preparation. What seemed like waste was investment. What appeared silent was a storm building beneath the surface. Fortune had no choice but to crown his faithfulness. This is the power of the unseen. This is the glory of the silent habit. Here is the truth few dare to accept. Life is always recording your habits. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is forgotten. The hours you invest in silence are stored, compounding, waiting to be revealed. And when they surface, people will call it sudden success. But you will know it was the silent habit all along. This is why you must take inventory of your days. Every wasted day compounds into loss. Every disciplined day compounds into fortune. There is no neutral ground. You are either moving closer to fortune or further from it. Write this law on paper and say it with conviction. There is no neutral ground. Your greatest enemy will always be your own excuses. Excuses sound logical, even noble, but they rob you silently. They whisper that you are too tired, too busy, too late, too inexperienced. And if you feed them, they grow until they own your future. The silent habit starves excuses. It acts without negotiation. It refuses to debate with laziness. It rises at the same time, practices the same routine, invests the same effort regardless of mood. This is the discipline of greatness. Do not wait for feeling. Act in spite of feeling. Repeat this truth until it ingrains. Excuses destroy fortune. Discipline creates it. I want you to take one action tonight. Write down the excuse you repeat most often.